Survivor Series is going down in a few weeks' time, so I, Simon of the Bald Idiot, thought I would sit here and try and figure out the card a good 3 weeks before it does make sense. And that way, when we get to November the 29th in San Diego, I believe, you can laugh at me and go, Simon, how did you ever make it this far in life? And I'd be like, I totally agree with you. I do not know. Now, as always, there is a comment box down there as well. Make sure you put your predictions, especially if I say something like, Simon, how did you forget about this? When you are hanging out down there, please do hit subscribe as well. We're always throwing videos out there, and we try and be as positive as possible because remember, wrestling is meant to be fun, and it is the most important of the least important things. So yeah, 2025 Survivor Series, let's predict it. And we begin with the Women's War Games match. I'm going to have to refer to my notes, and man, am I not confident. But I have Asuka, Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. I have Becky Lynch, I'll talk about it in 1 second. And I have Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. I'm not entirely sure of the baby faces because I have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, AJ Lee, Bayley, and Lyra Valkyria. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought I had one extra there. Now, it's difficult because if you were going to watch the TV, Stephanie Vicare and the Judgment Day are currently hanging out and playing Nintendo. But again, we got a big chunk of change. And this came to me in the other day, the shower, and doesn't mean that I'm right, obviously, but we had that big thing between Becky Lynch and Asuka when Becky was leaving the ring and Asuka was coming out to the ring to do her tag team match, I believe it was, against Bayley and Lycaria. So you got that sort of connected in as well. And at first I thought it was teased for a match because I'm a stupid person, I don't think about these things. But of course, they used to be enemies, but they also used to be friends. So now, given they are both on the heel side, I was like, Becky Lynch has got to be in that match. And as soon as I put Becky Lynch in there, I also put AJ Lee in there too, because I think over the next couple of weeks, we are going to get the Maxine Dupree-Becky Lynch matches, and the person that's been training Maxine Dupree is going to be AJ Lee, and that's how we return her to television. Also, don't mean this in a bad way, but as she does re-find her feet, and if she is going to do this sort of part-time schedule, being in a multi-person match helps you, right? Because you have 9 other people to not protect you, that's the wrong word, but you can just make a lot of noise so you can just ease back into things. So I like the idea of that. How you get Raquel and Roxanne in there, I don't know, but I just think they should. I think they've had such a good year that they not so deserve is the right word, but I just think it would make sense to highlight them as much as possible. And anybody in the Women's War Games and the Men's War Games is obviously going to be the focal point of Survivor Series. And then Bayley and Lyra, I just think, are 2 people that are going to have a feud eventually. And they've already sort of started all the stuff with the Kabuki Warriors, right? Because they had that match on Raw too. So you can just continue that on because there's every chance we get to Survivor Series and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are no longer the tag team champions and the Kabuki Warriors are. Then you're going to start saying, Simon, why aren't they in there? I think they could be because Io Sky is still in Japan. We don't know when she's coming back. And I think we're holding off bringing Io Sky back because Rhea Ripley has the broken nose and we don't want to reintroduce Rhea and Io, not at the same time because it makes more sense. So I think you could technically sneak Charlotte and Alexa in there too, but that is difficult because the Kabuki Warriors beat them on Raw, then you have to do some kind of a rematch, but I guess we do have some time. But at the same time, if you don't and you do some kind of a schmoz, that would make me start to think, well, Charlotte and Alexa's going to be in this, but at the moment, that just feels more like it's about the tag team titles as opposed to a knee-deep story. And again, there's still a good 3 weeks, well, depending on this video goes up, when I'm recording this on the 6th of November. There's still a good 3 weeks before we get to the Survivor Series. So I'm going with that. I just think if Rhea and Io are good to go, you want to put them in there. And also, they're not actually going after the World Championship at the moment. They're more interested in Asuka and Kairi Sane. That's been one of the best stories throughout 2025. It would be unfair to Charlotte and Alexa, but maybe they don't win. Maybe the reason Charlotte and Alexa are able to retain their titles is because something else goes on, they spin off to do something else before we come out the rear end of this. Terrible thing to say, and that's when we go back into everything with the tag titles and the Kabuki Warriors. But I quite like that as a big match. I think it has star power. I think it has stories. And I think you can spin a lot out of it too, because don't forget, WWE always does that. You get out the other side of Survivor Series, then all of a sudden we've lined these other matches up. And there's no pay-per-view as far as I know in December. So AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch could be at the Royal Rumble. That gives you 2 months build. That would be pretty good. And also, December is going to be completely eclipsed by the John Cena retirement, which we are going to talk about in just 1 second. So I'll lock in Asuka, Kairi, Becky, Roxanne, Raquel versus Rhea, Io, AJ Lee and Bayley and Lyra. Probably going to be wrong. Probably really, really dumb. But I just think it'll be awesome. And Io Sky can put a trash can on her head and do a moonsault because she loves doing that. And somehow it always works. Raw's going to get Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. There is no way we did that big angle on Raw a few days after I'm recording this, a few days before, and we're going to all of a sudden pivot because there's rumors that it was going to be John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. I don't think that's going to happen. And when I was trying to fit John Cena into this, there was only one place that seemed to make sense, given that it's going to be one of his final matches. But it's in San Diego. Dom and Rey obviously have wonderful chemistry together. You can figure that one out. And it could actually be extended all the way through to WrestleMania. I don't think Rey Mysterio is going to retire anytime soon, but it kind of feels to me like he would want his last feud to be with his son. I don't know. I have a horrible feeling that WrestleMania 42 could see Rey versus Dom at the end, and Dominic beats him, which actually could kickstart his babyface turn, because after that match is done, they can embrace in the ring. Dom be like, you weren't a deadbeat dad, I love you. And then he can still be a dickhead to everybody else, but that's the kind of one thing hanging over his head. Although on Raw, where were they this week? I can't remember now, wherever the flub they were. People, no one booed Rey, but there were a lot of chants for dirty Dom. So, we're somewhere in the middle at the moment. I think WWE knows we have to head in that direction. I mean, I think Rey Mysterio should probably win this. But is the IC title going to be on the line? Is the AAA Mega title going to be on the line? Because obviously Rey Mysterio could do that as well. Do you have to have the IC belt on the line? They didn't mention the Intercontinental title on that Raw thing. It was all about King of the Luchas, living up to the Mysterio name, not being a massive wally, which Dominic Mysterio is. Anyway, we'll get to proper predictions when we're nearer the thing. But I think we are going to do Dom versus Rey. I think the atmosphere is going to be incredible because I think WWE's already sold over 30,000 tickets for that. And again, it's in San Diego. That's like Team HQ Mysterio. I think it'd be so damn good, and I would look forward to it. And when Rey did come back, I was like, man, couple of thumbs. I would have taken Dom versus John Cena. I think that would have been wonderful, but this wonderful too. Stephanie Vicare versus Nikki Bella, I think, has to be a lock, and this is why the Judgment Day will spin out to go do their own thing. Nikki Bella, over the last couple of Raws, has been like, oh my gosh, Steph, I love you so much. You're so wonderful, but I'm such a terrible person. And I can't wrestle, and I can't win. If this isn't teasing a heel turn, what are we doing? Especially because, depending when you see this, on next week's episode of Raw, it's Raquel versus Stephanie. Nikki Bella's already said, I'll definitely be at ringside. She's going to screw her over. Stephanie Vicare will somehow retain the title, but then Nikki Bella will just punch her in the face. Like, how can you beat them? And I can't. And I'm actually quite looking forward to it. I think Nikki Bella will lean into this. I think Nikki Bella will have fun with this. I think it will not light a fire under her ass. I thought she was very good in that tag team match. But I just think it will give her a little bit extra to play with that will help her in 2025. Not that she massively needs help. I just think it will be good for her, right? That's what I'm saying. And for Stephanie Vicare to beat a heel Nikki Bella, I think that does mean something. I think a lot of people put Nikki Bella on a pedestal, as they should do. And Stephanie herself has spent a good while doing that. Like, Nikki, you're so great. I'm in love with you, basically. I look forward to this. I think it could be really, really fun. And with a good few weeks of promos against each other, yeah, I think I'll be locked in and ready to go. So I'm going to put it down as Survivor Series. I mean, you want at least one sort of world championship on the line. And I don't have any of the other ones because, again, they're all tied up. Because who the flub have I got? Yeah, CM Punk is taken. And then Cody Rhodes, that may be a problem, but I'll talk about it in just 1 second. But we should do Steph versus Nikki. We should. And again, we should give it all of November to build. And then Raquel and, Roxanne can go get annoyed with somebody else and probably laugh about this like, ha, 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 ha. I told you this was going to happen. I don't know why they laugh like the evil guy from Kung Fu on the NES. Anyway, I put it in the books. I'm sticking it down. It's happening. Now, I presume, and I don't know this, but we're also going to get the John Cena, My Last Time Is Now tournament finals on here. Because if this is the 29th of November and 2 weeks later we've got Saturday Night's main event, we need some hoopla. We can't just go from one thing to the other, which means I'm screwed. I didn't think about this. I don't think my predictions are right. Please do go watch my predictions video I did yesterday. Everything. Brackets, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and the winner. And the final I had is Drew McIntyre versus Gunther. My reasoning is sound. You can go and watch my reasoning, but now with everything else going on, I think I'm completely wrong. I can't double back down on it now. Also, I've always told you it's much more fun to make bold predictions than it is to make obvious predictions, although we do need that as well. Otherwise, where does it end? But I do love Gunther versus Drew McIntyre as a match, and I think it would feel like a main event, even on a show like War Games, because you had so many people backing Gunther, you'd have so many people backing Drew. I think Drew McIntyre by this point wouldn't feel like he just lost 2 matches against Cody Rhodes, because again, he would have won in round 1, he would have run in the quarters, and he would win in the semis. There's at least 2 wins, maybe 3, I can't think of at the top of my head. Gunther making a big return and also winning that, just think it would rule. I just think it would be awesome. Very sadly, according to my tournament, Gunther would win. So where that leaves Drew, I don't know. But that was my whole point, is that either of these guys could be John Cena's last opponent, and I think you would get a lot of support. There's always going to be negative Nancy's, but that's totally fine. So I've got to put it in. I can't do a video 24 hours go and then go, duh. Well, it won't be 24 hours ago when you see this. I put it live on Wednesday the 5th, so please do go back and watch it. But I'm going with Gunther versus Drew. And I also think when you go through this entire card of 2 War Games, Rey versus Dom, which is massive, I think Nikki versus Steph would be a big deal as well. And you do Gunther versus Drew, Survivor Series is going to feel like a big 5 pay-per-view, big 4 pay-per-view. And it needs to, given that there's 30,000 plus people going and WWE has sold this as a major one. The card has to back it up. Like, I think even with the Raw Rumble, you know you're going to get 2 Raw Rumble matches, but however many are in between should also feel like, oh my gosh, this is like a AAA card, not like a AAA promotion card, but an A+ card. Like, this is perfect from top to finish, and I don't want to go to the bathroom at all because every single match is going to rule. So, nobody else but Gunther versus Drew on there, so I'm going to do it, which means I will be wrong, but there's always that 1% chance I will be right, and then I can gloat. So I have a problem when it comes to the men's War Games. Now, it hasn't actually been confirmed that John Cena is going to fight on this card. He's just going to be there. But I think you should put him in the War Games. And the reason I think that is, again, talk about AJ Lee. He has 9 other people do the crazy stuff, so he doesn't have to take any sort of nuts bumps if he doesn't want, although he definitely will, because John Cena needs to do that. And given the people he would be teaming with, and given that he only has 1 match left after this, or whatever it is, it just makes all the sense in the world. Because the only issue I have is I have CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and John Cena. Now, Cody Rhodes means he's not on the card. That's not going to happen. Cody Rhodes is on this show. So I've made an error there somewhere, which starts making me think that LA Knight won't be in this match. I think it's going to be Cody. Hence, timing was he has a much more time than Cena. So to repeat, now I think it's going to be John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. And I love LA Knight. I don't think he gets his just desserts, but he wasn't on TV last week. It may have been his birthday, so that's good. I like it when people get to have time off for their personal days. Yeah, he's just not at the level of Cody Rhodes, even though he could be if WWE treated him. And like I say, John Cena being on that babyface team is surrounded by people. Like Jey Uso this year, you go back to the Royal Rumble, CM Punk speaks for itself, Roman Reigns speaks for itself, Cody Rhodes speaks for itself. So that's what I think the 5 will be. And I've bought into this stupid Austin Theory rumor in the Vision, but we know it's going to be Logan Paul, we know it's going to be Bronson Reed, we know it's going to be Bron Breakker, and I think that Brock Lesnar will now be in this, given they've lost Seth Rollins, and obviously Paul Heyman has that connection, so he can be like, I reached out to my person that I know, and also, you know, you then have the Brock versus Cena thing, which hopefully means Cena can get some bit of revenge, and yeah, the last guy will be Austin Theory. Now, it doesn't have to be Austin Theory. I think if you're going to bring Austin Theory back, he should be a babyface. Anytime I see him in interviews, or anytime I hear about interactions he's had with people, he's such a wonderful goof in a good way, like he was in NXT. I think that's the way you get him to connect. Like, just because he looks like $1 million doesn't mean he has to be a badass heel. Just make him a fun-loving idiot. Like, fun-loving idiots get over. But I do think that's a massive match, and John Cena being in it elevates it, even though I struggle with him for obvious reasons. Having the Brock Lesnar opposite parallel will lift it up as well. And then everything else makes sense, right? CM Punk and Roman Reigns teaming together. What? Jey Uso and Roman Reigns teaming together. That's the bloodline. And Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming together. That's interesting too. Especially when they're all locked in that cage to begin with. I presume the heels will have the advantage here. Seeing those 2 prisons, I just think would sell the idea before they even got into the match. Then when you do have those fights, they'll do the face-off. WWE always does it. But who will you probably have? I mean, you'll have John Cena looking at Brock. You'll have CM Punk looking at Bron Breakker. I mean, that makes sense. You'll have Roman Reigns looking at Bronson Reed. Look at me figuring this out. You'll have Cody Rhodes. That's difficult. He can just look at Logan Paul. He can just do that. And Austin Theory and Jey Uso could have a thing. Have I got that right? Was my maths correct? I don't think it was. I think I've missed somebody out, or maybe even doubled up. I don't think I'm going to get this one right. I think there's going to be a twist in the tail that I'm not seeing. The Austin Theory thing, I mean, I like Austin Theory a lot. I just think he needs to be put in a better position to flourish. That's interchangeable, right? You can come up with anybody. You can even turn LA Knight heel, right? Or you could put Jimmy Uso over there as a heel. I did try and squeeze Jimbo into this. I just don't know. I don't see where he fits, but he can come out and do something. But sure, if a Jey Uso turned heel, or Jimmy Uso turned heel, or an LA Knight turned heel, and I think one of them has to, all things considered, you can then get rid of Austin Theory, and it can be one of them. And given the current storylines, actually it makes more sense. So let's say that happens. And of course, if you lose a good guy to being a bad guy, then Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, can be the replacement on the babyface side. Did that make sense? I'm not entirely sure that it did, but it's your fault for pushing play. I don't mean that. I appreciate your being here. But that's it. That's my Survivor Series card. I've gone 5 matches. Because if we have 2 War Games, WWE loves the 5-match card anyway. You probably struggle to get 3 more in anyway. Sticking with 5. Now, yes, as we talked about, let me know what you to believe the card will be. That was barely English, so you better fix me on that one as well. There are no rules, as long as you can justify it. You can't say Bret Hart versus an alien. Like, how is that going to work, right? Doesn't make sense. So basically, in reality, but if you can connect the dots, I'm all for it. And when you are down there, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click that notification bell. Otherwise, you can go to grillandmind.com/Simon. Use my side code Simon to get 10% off. Good fitness supplements. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. Patreon.com/Simon316 for watch-alongs and stuff like that. Come say hello on social media at Simon316, Simon J. Miller or Simon316 on TikTok for my dumb, silly videos, such as WW promos gone wrong. Trying to make them a thing. It's hard, but I enjoy them, so it's all okay. Come get a cameo so I can say hello to you in kind of person. Otherwise, ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. Enjoy the build to Survivor Series. Laugh as I get this terribly wrong. Keep enjoying wrestling, because that's what it's there for. See you soon.